The pom-poms are out.
We ready. Okay, all right.
Welcome to another live show here of the O&G Strike Zone. My fellas, I'm Bryan Fulford. That's Kelvin Rozier, Marcus Green. Gentlemen, how you doing? Reporting to work. Everybody ready to go?
Yep, it is time.
Fired up and ready to go. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. It's the August 2nd, which means the first day of the fall season. Camp has opened. The boys have reported for duty, and I believe they will have their first practice probably early Friday morning, knowing what the coaches like to do with their time. So we are pumped up and excited about that, and want to thank everybody for coming in and joining us on tonight's show, season 3, episode number 2. We are reporting for work. Want to remind you, real early on in the broadcast, go and hit the thumbs up button wherever you're watching us, or hit the like button if you're on YouTube. Hit the thumbs up button. If you're on Facebook, hit that like button there for us. Go ahead and share the show with your friends, your family, your rattlers that you know in your social groups. Let them know about tonight's show. We got a lot of things to hit on. We got a loaded guest lineup. So, I mean, that's the one good thing. You know, we must be doing some things right. People want to talk to us, fellas. So that's a good thing. That's a good thing. And that's what we want to continue to do. So I'll set the lineup coming up real soon, probably in about 10, 15 minutes here. We're going to have one of FAMU baseball's newest recruits, a young man that transferred from Queens College up in the New York area. Reed Hoskins is his name, and he's a big hitter. He packs a punch. So I'm real interested to talk with him and find out more about how he found his way to Tallahassee from New York. Then, while we're on the diamond, we're going to transition from the baseball diamond to the softball diamond, and we're going to talk about with Coach Tiffany Johnson. If that name sounds familiar to you, it should, because in 2006, she was a part of the FAMU softball team that won the MEAC title. She was a pitcher. She was Rookie of the Year, second team All-Conference, first team in the tournament that year, and helped FAMU win a MEAC title, the second of 2 during that 05-06 run for Coach Wiggins. And then we'll talk to her about her journey. She ended up leaving FAMU after that, but more importantly, she kept her close FAMU ties. And it just so happened she was the head coach of a all-star team over the Major League Baseball weekend a few weekends ago. Minority Softball Prospects all-star team featuring a group of all African-American, or you could say girls of color softball team. And it was an all-star team that was really put together. Talented players, not a lot of practice time. They won. They whooped up on the Jenny Classic out there, and they're all class of 2024s. And it just so happens one of the young ladies on the team will be joining us as well, Dillyn Suggs. We know friends of the family. That's family right there. You know, we know her mom, Angela. And I was roommates with her dad back in college. So it's a pleasure to not only get a chance to talk to Coach Johnson, but Dillyn as well. She goes to Florida High right there in Tallahassee. So we're going to find out about the experience of their trip. And then we're going to add on and talk to Coach G, our director of track and field and cross country. So we got a loaded show for you tonight, and we will get into that. So we hope you any questions you guys have, make sure to have those ready. We hope you enjoy these conversations. And, of course, we're going to talk about all the good news and all that other stuff that everybody's salivating to talk about and hear what we got to say about it. So we will get into that too. Hopefully we can do it all in a 2-hour time span, guys. You never know.
You back on the job.
I'm back on the job. But between putting this show together and just all the hours, I mean, good Lord, man. I mean, it's shout out to Kenneth Rose, the first one in the building. That's family. Looks like it. Bull comes in. Bull, I always see what Bull wants to talk about. Bull wants to talk basketball, football. I mean, man. Okay, Bull, we got you. Shout out to Marcus. Good to see you. Marcus, good to see you. B. Starks checking in. Also, Jimmy Matt comes in. Appreciate that. Nah, we come on now. We weren't that late, Jimmy. We just saved you from 3 minutes of commercials. That's all we did. First day of camp is actually tomorrow. No, Friday. Friday morning is the first day of practice. Today was
practice.
Yeah, check-in was today. I'm sure they'll be doing some more meetings and stuff like that, EA, just to kind of let you guys know on that. Let me see. Kind of lost my spot here. What up, Kenya? Good to see Kenya. Today is a holiday. Yes, it is. Happy holiday. Good morning. Good vibes all the way around. Rattler Nation, Mary 305 checking in. Good to see you. Chuck Hunt all the way from Monroe, Louisiana. Good to see you, Chuck. Thanks for coming in. Kelly Flicks checking in. Kind of see Kelly going to hit us up with some preseason polls. You know, you do some good work out there. Let us know what the preseason is looking like when we get into it a little bit later. Got to say hey to Meredith. All righty. Shaka Perkins. Oh, my bad, Meredith. Yes, exactly.
No Shaka Perkins.
Oh, the high.
High.
Okay, my bad. Okay, see, there you go. I'm glad you're catching these early. Let me see. Anybody else I missed? Oh, Carlos Brown. Good to see you, Carlos. Checking in. How about those new Southern dropping some new uniforms?
I love all the combos except that dark blue with the yellow pants. I didn't really like that. But
yeah.
The other ones are really good.
Yeah, that's my second favorite uniform.
They are.
They are. Okay, me too. Yeah. Y'all trying to catch up, Carlos. I know Southern's trying to catch up with the different combinations. I still think the orange and green, you know, our combinations.
Yeah.
Gotcha. There she is, Melissa Wilson.
The high.
There it is. The high. Checking in. All right, Rattlers. All right, so I'm sure there's some other folks here. I'll get to you here in a second. I know Sweet. There you go, Sweet.
What's up, Sweet?
Good to see you, Sweet. Morgan checking in. Mr. Morgan checking in. Paul checking in. The boss checks in. Yeah, I always covering. Good cover, boss. Good cover. Okay, so coming up here in another 5 minutes, we're going to talk to new FAMU baseball recruit, Reed Hoskins here. But obviously, the big headline, which I promise we will get into in serious depth later on in the show, but the big hire well, actually, no. What do we want to go? The hire or camp? What are we going to do real quick? Because we only got like 5 minutes before. What do you want to hit on first? Camp?
Yeah, let's go camp.
Yeah, let's talk about camp. I mean,
right,
today was move-in day, so.
Yeah, move-in day. Here's some pictures from Coach LaTroy Johnson showing our coaches had a little retreat before opening up the camp. Which is good. I mean, obviously, you want your coaches to have that time where they get a chance to kind of, get together, get on the same page. Everybody kind of sets the table on what they want, how they want to address things. So that's all good stuff to see. Then you see some more pictures from FAMU Athletics of some of the guys checking in. Of course, you see Coach Simmons. I could not quite make out who that young man was. Any of you guys can pick that up real quick. Hit me, let me up. I kind of rushed to throw these images together for the show tonight. So it's on FAMU Athletics or FAMU Football Twitter feed. Of course, as you can see, some of the guys in the listening to learn phase. You know, that's very important this time of the year. Of course, there you see on the left, preseason SWAC Offensive Player of the Year, Jeremy Musa. And here's a shot of that particular room. Now, what room are they in, Kelvin? Any idea where they are?
That looks to be pharmacy.
Pharmacy. I'm looking at the logo on the podium.
Yep.
Okay. So
the auditorium and pharmacy.
All right. So a good opportunity for those guys to get in. Yeah, that's a big auditorium because I mean we've got 100. My numbers were we have 110 something guys reporting. Is that correct?
I believe that was the number that was thrown out there, but today's another big day for another reason that folks don't normally talk about. But given our past, we have to mention too. Today is also the day that grades started getting posted.
Ooh.
Okay. So some folks may have not been cleared yet.
Interesting. Okay. Well, we'll kind of see how that affects the team. I think we all feel pretty confident that issues like compliance aren't going to be an issue to hamper us at the beginning of the season, and so that's a real important. Any other thoughts about the opening here of camp?
Well, just it's high expectations and rightfully so. We have a pretty manageable schedule. The trickiest part would be the road SWAC games, but there's no talking now. We got to put up or shut up, just like everybody else.
Mm-hmm.
Marcus, as you and I know you've gone over this depth chart every which way possible, forward, backwards, turning it all upside down. What position or positions do you feel like, are the most in flux? If you just had to, say,
ahead.
hey, we don't really know what this particular lineup is going to be just yet.
My guess would probably be along the two lines. I mean, we got established from actually the three. The three that come to mind: wide receiver. I mean, we do have returning starters or returning key pieces in Manigo and K Dot. But then, who's going to be the new person to step up? The other thing I'm thinking, offensive line, just because we have two stalwarts there, but then we have a lot of talent. Just like Coach Henry was saying last week. Okay, who's going to fill in around the two all-star? I mean, it's not two all-stars. The two all SWAC players that we have coming back. With a bevy of talent and the experience that people got thrown into last year, like TJ Demas and TJ Lee. I mean, he has a wealth of opportunities, and they'll have to battle it out. And I guess for me, this is my personal thing, defensive tackle. I mean, we have a lot of senior folks, and I'm gonna send you what I got to load up on the website, but we have a lot of seniors and graduate students at the defensive tackle. So the bevy of talent that we had and that we accumulated, young talent on the transfer portal from the and Chris Reed and Quan Lee and all the others who transferred in with a couple years of experience, we do not have that at defensive tackle. We have some depth and we definitely have experience. Well, we have experience.
Right.
But it'd be nice, just looking ahead to next year, they're going to have to, at least in my opinion, I don't know what they got going on, but just based on what I've seen at the roster and the offers of people that have come in who are also graduates or had a 1 or 2 year left, defensive tackle this year, we should be good if everyone stays healthy next year, they're gonna have to get on their horse to get some defensive tackles. I think we're pretty solid in every other position.
Kelvin, quickly give you a chance to. If I saw you had your hand up, go ahead and jump in there quickly before we go over to Reed.
The one phase of the game people tend to ignore: special teams.
Mm.
New long
Okay.
snappers, new field goal kickers. The punter is a existing All-American, but he's not worked with this particular long snapper. But I think he'll be fine. But field goal kicking, long snapping, and just the snappers in general, and the return game, because that was the one area on special teams we were still everywhere else, but our return game was middle to the bottom of the pack. So we got a lot of talent. So hopefully we'll make that next step.
All right. We will come back and we'll talk a little bit more about football here coming up, and also just to give you guys a teaser, we are working on putting together some shows, strictly football related shows. I know you guys are starving for that, so we will have some upcoming shows where we are strictly focused in on football. But let's pivot to our first guest for tonight. He is a FAMU recruit coming up into this class of I guess for this 23-24 season. And he comes all the way from Queens College and from the New York area. And let's welcome on Reed Hoskins onto the program. Reed, how you doing tonight? Thanks for joining us.
How we doing tonight, guys?
Doing good. Doing good. How are you?
We're blessed, man. Good to have you. Let's make sure we got him. All of a sudden we got him, and then we don't have him. So I know he's there. Little connection issues, I think. Okay. Hold on. There we go. Reed, we got you now.
How we doing tonight? How we doing? Hello.
Hey, we're doing all right, man. We're doing. How are you doing?
I'm real good. Real good.
Hey, first off, what room are you in? It's a lot of nice plaques, a lot of Obama. Where are you at right now?
This is like my father's office area where he does all of his work. So this is all his, stuff on the wall.
That's what's up.
Okay.
Well, hey Reed. First off, man, welcome to the family. Glad to have you ready to join the SWAC baseball champions and joining this great program. Tell us a little background about you and how you found FAMU. You're coming from Queens College. You had some great seasons there. How did FAMU end up on your radar?
So firstly, I'm from Boulder, New York, out in Long Island. And I played 4 years at Queens College, did well there, loved it there, great school. And the way I always knew about FAMU, just, being around. I heard of the school. And I always wanted to play like HBCU baseball. And looking through the SWAC, all the teams in the SWAC, if there was one school I wanted to go to, it would be FAMU. So when I entered the portal, I just emailed Coach Shute. And I sent him some videos, sent him my stats, told him about me, and he gave me a call back. He said he loved it, and he wanted to bring me on board. And that's how it went.
All right.
Nice. Go ahead, Marcus.
Well, actually, that was my first question about what brought you to FAMU, but let me jump into this. And once again, thank you for accepting our invitation. I guess it's a two-part question. What are your expectations in going from Division One from Division Two to Division One baseball, if anything? And I guess the second part of the question, what was your thought process, or what was your catalyst for jumping in the portal?
So, moving up from Division Two to Division One, it'd definitely be a challenge. Some of the velocities that you face at Division One. Guys throw a little harder, maybe have a little more break. So it definitely will be, a little bit of a learning curve, but it shouldn't be, baseball is baseball anywhere you go. So it shouldn't be too much of an issue making that adjustment. And what was the second part of your question? I'm sorry.
What was your catalyst for getting in the portal?
All right. So at my school that I was at before, they didn't really have any master programs that I was interested in studying. So that was really what pushed me to the portal. It was really on the school side of things, because the baseball side of things, we were a great team. We won our conference championship this past year, so we had a real good squad. But there was nothing at the school that I really wanted to study, and moving up to Division I is always a positive, and a school like FAMU is definitely always a positive. So.
Okay. Well, thank you.
Go ahead, Kelvin. As we look at some of Reed's highlights from his past season at Queens College. Go ahead, Kelvin.
So yeah, I want to first I want to know, going from New York to Florida, have you been to Florida before? Have you lived in the heat and the humidity and away from the cold and the snow?
I've been to Florida, but I was like a little kid, so that was a long time ago. But yeah, definitely gonna have to get adjusted to the heat and all that humidity and everything, because it's definitely a whole different ball game down there. And I heard the hills on campus are a little crazy. That too.
You heard right.
You heard right. Yes, indeed. Yeah.
Okay. So what is your what did you get your undergrad in, and what is your interest in terms of a master's program?
So I got my undergrad in economics, and I had a minor in business administration, and then for my master's, I'm going to be studying sports management at FAMU.
Okay.
All right.
Okay. All right. Now to the baseball stuff. So, what's your position, and what you think is your best position? And then, did you get a chance to watch the team last year, FAMU? I'm speaking of. They did pretty good in the tournament. They went to the NCAA. They were a power hitting team, and they have a nice core coming back. So, just kind of talk about what position you play, and then what are your thoughts of the FAMU program?
Right. So I'm an outfielder. I play left field and right field, and a little bit of first base, but mostly in the outfield. And I'm hoping to provide some more power in that lineup. But yeah, I got a chance to watch the team play. I watched some of the SWAC championship, and I watched them in the regional. They played Florida. They played, and UConn, I think, was the other team.
Yeah. Yep.
And they played really well. They played really well in those games. So I definitely know it's a talented squad. Obviously, they won the championship, so they definitely got a lot of guys there that could play. And I'm excited to, help them become repeat champions. Definitely excited.
Awesome.
Hey, Reed, one of the things that, as I look at your stats and from your past season where you hit 351 in terms of your batting average, had a career best 7 home runs, drove in 41 RBIs. I noticed here, like, the difference between your sophomore year, you had some interesting sophomore, junior, senior seasons. It's like you had an really high, obviously your first. Well, let me backtrack. Your freshman year was actually the year of COVID, so you lost that year, which is why you have 1 to 2 years of eligibility still as a grad transfer for people who are wondering. Freshman year, you came out or I guess it would be your sophomore year or your first real year. You came out the box. You were hitting like I think it was like 357 if I can see these little numbers. But you had a good first year. Second year, it's almost like you had that quote unquote sophomore slump, whatever that is, and then you came back strong. Talk a little bit about what you did, to get back to where you were. The little transition there from your first, second, and third year.
Right. So after my second year, very down year, obviously, I figured out that most of my problem was mostly mental, a little bit mechanical, but mostly mental. So going into this past season in the fall and in the winter, I made sure to find out what type of drills I should be doing in order to perfect my swing, making sure I know where I'm at on the plate. Because the problem I was having in the season that I was down was the outside pitches were looking real outside, even though they were strikes, and the inside pitches were looking real inside, even though they were strikes. So what I did in that off season was I set up the machine and I would just track pitches inside, outside, understanding where the strike zone is, understanding where the plate is, and that's what really helped me a lot. Improve from that season.
That's pretty good. You did
in
that
work.
kind of analysis on your own, or you had some coaches or a parent helping you with that?
I did most of it. I did on my own because when I was playing in the games, I realized like I would take a pitch, and I would think it's outside, and the umpire would be like strike, and I would just be like, there's no way, and I just had to reevaluate myself in that off season and get back on track. So it was mostly myself. Obviously coaches helped me too. Friends helped me as well, teammates, but it was mostly myself. It was self-analysis.
All right, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. Go ahead, Marcus.
Well, if you follow the Rattlers over the last couple of years, we've played in some classics. A couple in Atlanta, the Gar Aaron Classic, and
New
had
Orleans,
some folks in New Orleans, and we've played
Andre Dawson.
in the Andre Dawson Classic. So I guess my question is, I wanted to ask, are you excited about the possibility of playing in those classics and potentially meeting Ken Griffey Jr.?
Yes, definitely excited about that. I was watching the classic that was going on during the All-Star break, and I saw the FAMU guys playing, and I saw them all meet Ken Griffey, and I was like, that was just crazy. Like, that must be a crazy experience. Like, if I was blessed enough to have the chance to play in that game, like, it would just be amazing. So definitely excited.
His son plays on the football team, so you might not have to wait till the game.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
His sons are red shirt. I want to say red shirt sophomore, junior.
Yeah, he's going his red shirt junior year. Yeah,
red shirt junior. So yeah, so you might get a chance. Actually, when I was down there last year, we walked right past him. I was like, oh my God, that's Ken Griffey Jr.
Yeah.
Just to let people know again what position you play, as we had a couple people jumping in, maybe join us a little late.
Oh, I play outfield, left field, and right field, mostly corners, and ability to play first base as well.
Okay, I thought I read something that said first base as well. That's why I was I was wondering. I saw you went to outfield, but okay. What about the HBCU environment or culture? Do you have any people in your family that have HBCU ties? What is it maybe about the HBCU environment that you are looking forward to?
No one in my family attended the HBCU. As you know, I have a cousin that's going to Stillman this upcoming year to play baseball as well. So he'll be over there. And I have a couple of friends that play in the SWAC. One of them on Grambling, Mike Edwards. He plays in the SWAC right now. So he told me about, the culture and how the games be and everything. So, I'm definitely excited to see what it's about because it's definitely different. I could tell that it's different from New York baseball.
True. Yeah, it is. Definitely.
Yeah.
And have you had a chance? When do you make it down to campus? When are you planning to head down to campus?
I don't have an official date yet, but sometime mid-August before classes.
Okay. Still working that out. Kelvin, go ahead if you want to get in a last question or so here with Reed.
Yeah, a couple of classes we mentioned are former Rattler greats are named. Those classes are named after. Andre Dawson, who's our Hall of Famer, then first black manager of the Braves, Coach Lucas. Yeah, and then of course we had Vince Coleman and Hal McRae, who also played professionally and were pretty stellar. My question is, I guess, were you familiar with that history at all prior to you jumping in the portal and start looking for reaching out to FAMU? And did that have any? If you were familiar with it, did it have any impact on the decision at all?
Prior to hopping in the portal, I did know that Andre Dawson went to FAMU. I did know that, and that definitely had an effect. Obviously he's a legend in the game, one of the best players, one of the best outfielders of all time. So, yeah, definitely, playing at a place that he played at, definitely had some weight in my decision as well.
Okay.
Well, I got to admit, one thing I really like there, Reed, is you got a lot of praise when you first put your info out in the on Twitter, and one of the scouts from that area was very high. You weren't in the portal long, were you?
No, I was only in the portal for about 3 weeks.
You're doing something right. You're doing something right. If you weren't in there that long, that that means you're doing something right. And give a shout out to your people who did the design work for you on your commitment graphic, man. That's some awesome stuff right there.
Yeah, if anybody wants a graphic, hit up Drew Visuals on Instagram. He's a great dude. Works quick, great guy. Definitely.
That's what's up. That's what's up. And there you see, folks, some of the information, 1 to 2 years of eligibility, definitely. You can see some of the numbers, and man, good stuff there. Good stuff. What do you say, Marcus?
We need 2 years.
Yeah. Okay. So you got to. Marcus says you got to make sure to stretch that grad program out. Don't be so quick to rush out. Trust me, you get there that first year, you're not gonna want to run. You're gonna want to be there for the full 2 years. I'm making a guarantee about that.
I second that.
Yeah, we second that. Reed, man, want to give you an opportunity to maybe give a shout out, say hello, give out your social media handles. We appreciate you coming on. We look forward to seeing you and wearing the orange and green and putting on that baseball hat. So I'm gonna give you the last word here. Any last shout outs or any plugs you want to give?
I'll just say thank you guys for having me. It was a great experience, definitely. My Instagram is my first and last name, Reed Hoskins. And I'll shout out my family, my mother and father, my 2 brothers. And, shout out to my coaches at Queens College. If they're in here, I don't know, Coach Reardon and Coach Smith. They really helped me become the player I am today. And I'm just very thankful for them. And they're very supportive of my decision to leave as well. So that's it.
Hey, well, you left out of there with a ring, with a championship. So you'll be in good company when you get to Tallahassee, and then hopefully all y'all can get a second one. That's what we're shooting for, trying to get a second one. Well, Reed, we know you and we know your family. You guys are going to enjoy the first visit to Tallahassee. Kelvin, any places they need to stop when the family and them come down? Give a quick 1-2 spots they need to hit up when they get to Tallahassee.
Well, I mean, they're probably gonna have a short window when they get here, but there's quite a couple of local spots that are. I mean, what did you like to eat?
I eat everything.
That's good.
Can't ask a college kid what they like to eat. Everything. I mean, come on. He's a growing boy. He's gonna say everything.
Okay. All right. Well, there's a couple of barbecue spots close to campus, as well as Olean's, which is a legend here, and they actually have pictures with Obama, who also, when he came a couple of times, they have pictures on the wall, a little small soul food hole in the wall type place. But we got several spots, man. When you get down, between your teammates and Rattler Nation, we'll make sure you're well taken care of.
Definitely.
All right, and during football season, if you happen to see us or you see some guys broadcasting, give us a shout out. We'll look for you, but sometimes we miss. But if you see us bumping around, give us a shout, man. Don't be a stranger. We're gonna look for you. And safe travels down to Tallahassee, you and your family. Thanks for coming on, and again, welcome to the family. All right.
For sure. Appreciate it, guys. Appreciate you having me.
Thank you.
All right. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Somebody had one more suggestion here for you. Sending them to Joe. All right, Joe
downtown. Joe Ellis, downtown.
So now you got 2 spots there, Reed. You got Olean's.
Well, Olean's for breakfast, Joe Ellis for lunch or brunch.
There you go. See,
I'll be writing those down.
All right, Reed. Take care, man. God bless, and we'll see you. All right.
Yes, sir.
All right. Good stuff, fellas. Hey, let's take a short break. and come back and talk to Coach Tiffany Johnson and see if we've got Dillyn to join us as well. We're going to find out about the Coach Johnson, what she's been doing ever since she was an all-star pitcher for FAMU softball back in the. It feels like I don't want to say back in the day, but because it's still like a few years ago for me. But anyway, we'll come back and talk to Coach Johnson right on the other side. I think Marcus will be back too. You're watching the O&G Strike Zone right here on the Black College Sports Network.
Itchy, squirmy, scratchy, family not getting clean? Get Charmin Ultra Strong. Go get 'em. It just cleans better. With a diamond weave texture, your family can use less while still getting clean.
Goodbye, itchy squirm.
Hello, cream bottom.
We all go. Why not enjoy the go with Charmin?
At Hampton Law, our primary goal is to provide non-traditional yet effective solutions and redefine the approach to client legal concerns. As your trusted legal advisor, we believe in sophisticated, personalized services that eliminate the confusion and complexity sometimes associated with legal matters. Our high standard for client care and concern, coupled with our extensive legal knowledge and skills, make Hampton Law a resource focused on the protection of the client's interest and overall goals. We value our clients and truly enjoy working with them. Visit thamptonlaw.com to conveniently schedule an appointment online. Tamika Hampton Esquire, 1631 Rock Springs Road, Suite 336, Apopka, Florida, 407-494-1471. thamptonlaw.com.
Nope. Nope.
Come on, him?
Ooh, I like him.
Quick, the quicker picker-upper. Bounty picks up messes quicker, and each sheet is 2 times more absorbent, so you can use less.
He's an 8.
He's a 9.
Bounty, the quicker picker-upper.
From novice to aficionado, find yourself here. High quality cigars plus personal customer service. Slow Burn is Waco's only mobile cigar lounge, featuring a meticulous, curated collection of premium cigars. Visit our website, www.slowburnwaco.com. That's www.slowburnwaco.com.
Stride K-12 powered schools are ready to put over 20 years of being a leader in online education to work for you. Dive into curriculum design for the online classroom. Team up with state-certified teachers trained in virtual instruction. Take control of your child's education journey. Discover the power of personalized learning with a leader experienced in preparing kids for a future they can be excited about. Take charge. Stride K-12. Enroll now for the fall.
All right, welcome back to the O&G Strike Zone. Here we go. Okay. Hey, all right, just had to make sure we got our guest squared away. Okay, let me go ahead and introduce our next guest coming on the show. We've got head coach Tiffany Johnson from Toni's Promise, but more importantly, she was a FAMU Rattler back in the 06 softball season. And then right from Tallahassee, Florida High, Miss Dillyn Suggs joining us, who is a member of that team as well. How are you ladies doing tonight?
Good. How are you?
All right. Let's see. We got everybody here. Okay, good to see you. Hey, let's kind of start before we I know Coach Johnson, we talked a little offline as well, but I want to give just a little. We're not going to go too deep into all of the backstory, but I mean, you did win a championship with FAMU softball, so I wanted to give you a chance to kind of talk a little bit about your time at FAMU, winning that title, working with Coach Wiggins, and just what memories you have of your time in Tallahassee. Oh, you're on mute, Coach. You're on mute.
Sorry, I can just tell you that my time at FAMU was one to remember. So I came in 05. I came in for a year, but I would say that the relationships that I built for that first year lasted a lifetime. Big ups to Coach Wiggins. When I actually came to on my recruiting visit, which we talked about, at that time in my life, I didn't know where I wanted to go, but I was honest. I felt like my parents basically poured into me and my sister our whole lives when it came to softball. And my sister left and she went to South Carolina State. Like she left, she dipped out. And for me, I just felt like I'm indebted for my parents to see me play. Like they put all this money in. So when I went on my recruiting visit, it's crazy because I wanted the HBCU experience, but I also wanted to go be close to home. So when I went to Bethune-Cookman recruiting visit in FAMU, and FAMU actually was my last recruiting visit. And Lord knows I had a great time. And I told Coach Wiggins my truth, and I am forever indebted with her because I told her like how I felt, and she was like, look, we'll be grateful just to have you for 1 year. And I was like, really, Coach? Because I always wanted the HBCU experience. And she gave me that opportunity to play, at an all-black school. And my brother went to Morris Brown, played football. My sister played softball at South Carolina State. But for me, the only schools that were in the heart of Atlanta, which I'm born and raised, was Georgia Tech, Georgia State. And I was recruited by all those schools. However, I was always a Georgia Tech fan because of Atlanta. A lot of people associate Atlanta with UGA, but it's Georgia Tech. So for me, I'm just grateful to be able, for Coach Wiggins, FAMU, the sisterhood. I still, connect with a lot of my old teammates. And then I still connect also, too, with some of the girls that played before me. So the opportunity, I'm very appreciative. I do go to homecoming. I haven't been in a while, but I used to still go to homecoming as if I still attended FAMU. So I'm just forever grateful.
All right, that's what's up. Again, for folks who may have forgotten, MEAC Rookie of the Year in 06, second team regular season, but first team conference. In the conference tournament. Well, you're shaking your head. Well, you should have been first team, right?
I should have been first team, but it's okay. I'm not trying to say. Think about that. Think of that. Think about that, though. I question it to this day. But okay.
You're not holding on to anything there, are you, Coach? It's all good.
It's okay.
It's all good. Hey, so so I'm gonna throw this over to Kelvin and Marcus, and we got Dillyn. So Dillyn, we're gonna get to you in just a moment here as we get to talking about Toni's promise, but we want to make sure we get everybody in. So Kelvin, I'll go ahead and give you the first question, and you can feel free to. You got Tiffany and Dillyn there, so I'll switch back and forth however you go.
Okay, I'm gonna start with Coach first. And I just want her to talk about, since she's, are you still playing any kind of competitive softball outside of, what you do with the coaching? And just kind of talk about what you've done since you stopped playing softball over the last few years, and how this whole concept of your all-star group came about.
So I graduated in 2010. And once I finished, I actually went to Mississippi Valley State, and I was an assistant coach there. I just felt like I wasn't mature enough for the position. So I ended up moving back home. I ended up working in the school system, and then I actually ended up getting my sports management degree, master's. Once I got my master's, Bethune-Cookman offered me a job right away. I went to Bethune-Cookman. I started coaching. I was the pitching coach. And then I got knocked out. I got knocked unconscious when we were in California at the Cathedral City Classic. And that kind of just changed my whole career path, because I wanted to go into coaching, and it kind of took me away from coaching. Bethune-Cookman took a chance on me. So I ended up going to higher ed academics and then student athlete development. And I actually would train girls when I would come home, and in between, when I had the time, I would connect with local organizations back home, and to help out and stuff. But coaching was kind of hard for me to get back into coaching. and how I got here with Toni Promise. So my friends from college, they are the CEO and owners of the organization, and they knew my history with softball, and I was from Atlanta, and they have been trying to get me to join like their organization for a long time, but once I kind of like softball, like when I got knocked out, it was hard for me to go back to the game because it took so much from me. I had to kind of pivot, and that was hard for me. Like I battled like a lot of things, and because I actually didn't work for a year when I got knocked out. So, but they took a chance on me, and actually they've been trying to get me apart for a while, and I finally gave in, and then Toni Promise was created, and here we are.
Okay, all right. My next question is for Dillyn. Dillyn, talk about your softball journey. How long have you been playing? What position do you play? And just your experience in working in some of these all-star games. Well, let's say specifically the one that you just got through participating in up in, was it Seattle, I think it was?
Yes, sir. It was Seattle.
All right. So, yeah.
So I've been playing softball for a long time now, since I was in third grade, but I didn't really get into the travel circuit where everybody gets recruited until 2 years ago in beginning of 21 January. So I started fairly late compared to the other girls that get recruited and go D1 and all that stuff. So I felt like that actually motivated me to work harder so I could prove to other people that like didn't think that I would make it as far as I have now in such a little amount of time, because most girls start in the travel circuit when they're 9, 10, 11, and I started when I was 14. So coming late out the gate really did motivate me to work as hard as I have to get here now. I play first base for my travel ball team, D1 Vision, and I play also at my school ball at Florida State University Schools. And with the whole Seattle experience, when I was contacted by Cameron Hollins of the Minority Softball Prospects organization, saying that I was selected to be on the team, at first, I couldn't really believe, because I looked at the lineup of people and I know I can compete with the people, but I was just like, me? Like I was excited. Like I was like, okay, let's go for it. So it was all it didn't all feel real until I stepped off the plane. And with the whole experience, with MLB conducting the whole experience, I couldn't be around my parents. I was treated like a superstar. I'm like, okay, rightfully so. So I was excited. I was excited the whole time I was there. And I actually met Coach Tiff at the airport. She was the first person I met on the team. And my mom had already known her for connections through FAMU and so and so. So I was like, okay, it's going to be fun. And like with the connection with the girls, we're all such a talented group of people. And the fact that we were able to come together, not knowing each other, play our best ball, played our best ball against everybody else. It was amazing. It was an amazing experience. I would do it all over again for sure.
Awesome. Boy, can you hear her mother in her?
I hear it. I love it. I'm holding back tears. Like I got my little towel here as I get emotional as I'm listening to this. Boy, you don't even know. Marcus, go ahead for Coach or Dillyn.
Yes, actually, this question is for both. So, good evening, Ms. Johnson and Ms. Suggs.
Good evening.
I wanted to ask, in 2021, and this is kind of switching sports a little bit, but I wanted to ask the ramifications. In 2021, March of 2021, there was, I guess, a slight protest or an embarrassment by the NCAA of the women's basketball in terms of revealing all the accoutrements and the difference in treatment for the women's basketball team. I wanted to ask, what changes have you seen in terms of softball? Has it improved in terms of the overall recruiting experience, in terms of how softball players and the tournaments and the NCAA managed events have gotten better, if anything? And just what have you seen in terms of the growth of the sport, in terms of support, not only from your community, but also from the organizations at large?
Well, for me, I can say that like I'm just really getting back into everything. So everything has changed completely since I've played, since I've coached. I would say things have gotten a lot better. There are a lot more platforms that are exposing our young Black athletes, not only females but males, and they're getting their name out there. And obviously, minority softball and baseball prospects is one, and that's how Toni Promise came along. I think that the game is changing, especially for women, not just softball, but every other sport. You're seeing a lot of us now, and I think that's important for little brown girls to see themselves in us, Dillyn, Toni's Promise. And like when we were out there in Seattle, like their faces like lit up, like everybody was intrigued by these young women, and I was too, honestly, because coming into it, I have a lot of big time athletes on this team. Oh my God, y'all got that picture. But you have a lot of big time athletes, and everybody, I'm not saying that everybody is like they have big egos, but everybody is like the star on their team coming to one big team that's a star-studded team. And I like our girls truly humbled themselves. I don't know, it's just exciting, y'all. I'm not gonna lie to you. Our girls truly humbled themselves in this process, and I just think the game is changing. Like Dillyn said, like they were treated like superstars, and this is just the start of a new beginning. Minority softball prospect opened up a lot of doors in the database and the things that they're creating. And I'm excited to be a part.
For me, I would definitely say since I've started playing, I've seen a lot of growth within just my experiences alone. On the first travel ball team, that I was on, I was the only minority almost in the whole organization. And now I've come from that to being on a team, but like my regular travel ball team, almost full of minorities for themselves. So I've definitely say like along my path, I've definitely learned more about the game and watched it grow, in the sense that the Women's College World Series has outviewed the Men's College World Series for the past 2 years now. So that just in itself is amazing to me, and I'm excited to see the game grow more.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you both.
Hey, I'll start with you, Dillyn, while you're here. Where were some of the highlights of the weekend? I mean, I've seen the photos. You guys went to the market. Obviously, you guys were treated like stars, but just talk about the experience that you had from playing with a group that really, I don't think according to Coach, you guys didn't really know too much of each other prior to maybe a week or so. So talk us through that experience and maybe a few highlights that you can recall.
So a highlight on the field was the championship game. Everybody in the stadium was against us. We made it so much better when we won, because I was just like so pumped. Like I don't want to say they didn't want to see us win, but they didn't want to see us win. Like they were in on the other team's dugout cheers. They were just cheering if we had messed up in the slightest bit. But I feel like even though we had been winning the whole tournament, that's when we really came together and was like, okay, we're not going to let what they say determine how we play. And even though that score was probably the lowest score that we played in a game, because we were like blowing teams out of the water. But since that was like the lowest score, or the most tight, the most competitive in a sense, I feel like that really showed us how we could come together and play, not even as teammates, just as sisters, of all being the same minority or part of being a different minority, and just all coming together and playing our best ball. Like that was one of the best games that I've ever played in my life.
Well, congratulations on doing that. Coach, if you would talk about, if you can, this group of young ladies, how they changed your life a little bit. I think we talked about it. I'm not gonna go to try to get y'all emotional, but so just talk about the experience and how they impacted you, and maybe some ways that you didn't even process prior to coaching them.
So I'm going to kind of sum this all up, because I'll be all over the place. I'm going to read you something that I wrote to them and I posted it. But for me, they changed my life forever. I cried because I did not want to leave them. Literally boohoo tears. And then the picture that y'all have up was, I looked mean, but I had just finished crying and they wanted to take a picture. But, you know, it was just, you know, these girls played a crucial role for like our young Black little girls, you know. And for me, like, it was amazing. Like, I play for an all Black team, however, but this was like the only Black team in like I would say probably not the state of Georgia, I would say, or Metro Atlanta. And we would go and we would play, and you know, people would look at us like with disgust, like, you know, like it's just but I can tell you what these girls mean to me. So this is what I wrote. I said, "Dear Toni's promise, I want to take a moment to express my deepest gratitude for allowing me to assist in coaching you ladies, such a historic team. Minority softball prospect and player alliance, MLB, I'm forever indebted for what you represented. This experience was truly unforgettable, and it would never be possible without you. As a former Black athlete myself, watching you ladies play truly displayed Black girl magic and joy. I had the honor of witnessing the incredible athleticism, individuality, and sisterhood of these young women of color. It was an absolute joy to be a part of this historic all-Black team. Who and what we were playing for, Toni Stone. Toni Stone was an American baseball player who was born on July 27th in Minnesota. She was the first female professional baseball player to play in the Negro Leagues. Your resilience, teamwork, and unwavering bond was a true inspiration, and I feel so privileged to have worked with you all. Playing for Toni Stone's legacy meant to uphold her pioneering efforts and to honor the path she paved for women in sports. It meant to recognize the struggles she faced in a male-dominant sport and continue to break down barriers for female athletes. It meant to play with resilience, dedication, and passion for the game that Toni herself embodied. All of you ladies embodied Toni and what her legacy stands for. Every single young woman handpicked for this team carried out the plan and the vision of the team, executing it excellently and settling the bar high for young ladies to come afterwards. Thank you for being such a fantastic group of young women to work with. The cheers, talent, poise, personalities, and love are just a few things that I enjoyed. The list goes on. You have made this coaching experience an unforgettable one for me, and I will cherish it always. I have no doubt that your future is bright, and I can't wait to see all the incredible achievements that lie ahead for your collegiate careers." So that's what they meant to me.
Wow.
Thank you.
Dillyn, wow. Dillyn, what any thoughts you want to share there when you hear those words from your coach? How does that that's a heck of a way to go in. You probably had a great summer, it sounds like. How does that motivate you for the upcoming school year, your senior year, matter of fact?
Senior year couldn't have come slower, actually. I'm so ready to be a senior and get out of the house and explore. But I feel like everybody says that everybody's ready to leave until they actually leave. So, but I just feel the whole time I was there, throughout the whole summer, I felt valued. Like I felt like I belonged. Like when I first started playing softball, like with the teams, as I mentioned, I was the only minority on my first 3 travel ball teams, or one of 3 minorities. I didn't really feel like as if I had a place. I knew I was good. I knew that I could contribute to the team. I know I could do my job, but it just really didn't feel like I was valued to do my job, or people were commending me for doing my job. And I'm not saying that you have to have someone commend you to do your best, but it didn't feel like I fit in. Mm-hmm. But this past summer, starting back last fall with my travel ball team, I feel like I finally found my place. And then I finally found a place where I was ready to grow, ready for more. And then coming into Seattle, I was ready to grow, ready for more. I feel like I clicked amazing with the girls and I played amazing with the girls. I feel like I did my job. I feel like we all contributed in our own best way. And I feel like I'm just ready for more. It was an amazing experience, but you can always grow and get better. And I'm going to use that experience to help me get better in preparing to go to college.
Wow. Woo, that is awesome. Congratulations, Dillyn. You are going into your senior year. You committed to Campbell University. Kelvin, you got another question here before we wrap up with Dillyn and Coach Johnson. Go ahead.
No, I was just going to ask both of them, what's next. I know for Dillyn, school is senior year is next, and she's going to enjoy that. But I was interested. I heard you going into it. I heard about the commitment, but yeah, I just want Dillyn to talk about what's next, what she's looking forward to, and then also I want Coach to kind of talk about what's next for her. Now that she done had this experience, has she got that bug again and want to jump back into coaching? But Dillyn, you go first.
What's next for me is senior year. School starts next Thursday, August 10th. I'm excited. I take my senior pictures August 16th. It's just all surreal. Me and my mom were talking the other day about how I've grown up so fast. And junior year did really fly. Like, it just hit me yesterday. Like, wow, I'm a senior. And travel ball season, fall season's coming up. I'm working out. I'm hitting every day. I'm fielding. I'm just working on my fundamentals so I can make sure that I'm not in the same place as I was during the summer, even though I did have a great summer, as mentioned before. I only want to get better from there. So I'm just working on preparing. Next fall, I'm going to be in North Carolina, away from home, ready to prove myself on an even bigger stage, which I'm sure I can accomplish, but just preparing for the next steps, basically.
Are you looking forward to that, Dillyn?
I am. I am looking forward to that.
Is mom and dad looking forward to that?
I don't know. My mom, she shed a little tear the other day when I showed her my senior but it'll all work out. I'm still gonna be their little girl forever, and I'm only one phone call away, or like mom says, a drive away, which I'm sure she'll take plenty of times while I'm
Oh yeah. Yep, they definitely will.
All right, Coach Johnson.
Well, I'm in higher ed already, so I will continue to achieve big things in higher ed. However, I am going to get back into coaching. My friends convinced me. Minority softball prospects. So, when Toni Promise was orchestrated from like their database and stuff of all like the great talent they had, I mean, it's big time stuff that they have going over there. So yes, they have convinced me. So I will be a part of the history that they have coming in the future. So
love it, ladies. I love it.
That is awesome. Marcus, you want to get a quick one in here real quick before we go to break?
You know what? I don't know if I can follow up after that.
Oh, don't force it. Don't force it.
No,
it's all good.
Can't force it. Just please be in their presence.
Well, hey, look, I think great responses by the folks in the chat room. I think somebody in here said, Tiffany, you hit close to 400 as a freshman, as a true freshman. I didn't know all that. See, I thought you were just a pitcher there, Coach. Okay, look at that, boy.
So you see why I don't believe that second team stuff?
Now I know. Yes, now I understand. Now I understand. Hey, well, first off, ladies, congratulations on what you did this summer. It was fun getting to know about Toni's Promise. Like I said, Coach, after talking to you the first time, I was like, wow, we definitely got to have you on. I'm blessed to know Dillyn and the Suggs family for as long as I've known them, and we just had to have Dillyn in. I love watching your mom posting highlights every day on Instagram. Every time you hit a bomb, Dillyn, I love them. So just congratulations to both of you, and I hope this lights a fire in a movement. I hope we see more young women of color playing softball and just dominating the way you did. And so we look forward to following and seeing, what's next for you, Coach Johnson and Dillyn. We definitely going to follow and see, what you do this upcoming year at the high school level. And what's the goal this year on the high school level, Dillyn? How far are you trying to take it this year?
Well, I would like to go to state.
There you go. Come on, speak it into existence. Speak it into existence.
We're going to speak it out in the air. We're just going to speak it out in the air.
One game at a time, right, Dillyn? One game at a time.
One game at a time.
All right. Any shout-outs? Dillyn, give some shout-outs, social media plugs, anything you want to plug here.
My Twitter is Dillyn, DILLYN _Suggs, SUGGS. That's where you can find all of my softball highlights if you want to see what I can do. And my Instagram is Dillyn, the same way, .Ashley, ASHLEIGHH. Yes.
She was the only person on the team that had 1 million of them, but
Stop. Okay, that was a whole different conversation. It was a misunderstanding.
Coach, any social media plugs you want to share with the fam with folks?
So my Instagram is _Tiffany_J. And I also do photography part-time. So my Instagram for my photography, my business is Captive. So CAPTIF visuals at yeah, that's it. Nothing at. Sorry.
Okay.
So, yeah.
All right, sounds good. Well, again, thank you, ladies, for coming on the show and telling us about Toni's promise and all that you accomplished this year. And we wish you the best this upcoming fall and the spring season. Okay.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you for the opportunity. We appreciate
Yes.
it.
Definitely. Thank you. Hey, Rattlers, we're going to take a quick break, come back, and we're going to talk to Coach G, find out what's going on with our track and field cross-country program right on the other side. Hang tight. We'll be back in 2 minutes.
I have in me the ability to make you a better you. So if you work hard, focus, stay on point, you can do anything. Trust me.
We made this track to tell everybody they can follow their dreams.
The human voice has always connected audiences with experiences. Major brands all across America have trusted Kever's voice time and time again. Conversational, powerhouse, intelligent, and sincere. That's the voice you need for your creative marketing process. KEAVERSVOICE.com. Kever's Voice, Kever's Voice, KeversVoice.com. Always on, all the time.
When we invest in ourselves, our glow, our vision, our vibe, we all shine. Together, we are black beyond measure.
Remember the revival? Relive the remix. Reunite for the Orange Blossom Classic. HBCU reunion experience. It's year 3, baby, and we back with that fire. Calling all HBCU fans. Labor Day weekend. The I Love Jackson State University takes on the Venomous Florida A&M University. Tickets are on sale now. Watch the game in premium style seating or watch it from a luxury suite. And of course, you know the halftime show is going to be epic right here in the 305. The sonic boom of the South and the illustrious Marching 100. Who you rocking with? The 2023 Orange Blossom Classic. Don't miss the HBCU reunion experience. Labor Day weekend, Miami Gardens, Florida, Hard Rock Stadium. Trust me, we'll see you there. Oh. Check out OrangeBlossomClassic.com for tickets and info.
All right, welcome back to the ONG Strike Zone. Bryan, Kelvin, Marcus here. We should have Coach G coming up, Coach Garfield Ellenwood coming up here in a moment. Just waiting on him to probably log in, and so we will see him shortly. Marcus, you just dropped some info in the chat. Tell people what just dropped. Though I saw some people talking about it in the chat room, but let people know what just dropped about an hour ago.
Yes, FAMU Athletics just dropped a mobile app available on the App Store and Google Play. And apparently you can get access to Regular Plus and tickets and other features that are included in the app. So I'm excited. I just saw it from the chat and I forgot who actually posted it first. I don't know if it was Tamara T or someone else. And so I know while we were getting prepped in between guests, I actually went out and checked it, and so got on Twitter and saw that the app had dropped. I've not downloaded it yet, but I'm excited to see what features it has and what they're going to do with it. I know we've talked about it for years about some of the things you could do with an app, and that was kind of what I was alluding to when we talked to Josh a couple of weeks ago in terms of teaming up with that initiative to improve wireless access on the south side if Bragg was going to be included in it, and if this was going to be one of the, maybe not one of the direct results, but if it was something that was going to be come to fruition and may have better success because you can improve the Wi-Fi access within the stadium and maybe add some features to it.
Yes. See a couple people who've already downloaded it. I can say I saw the preview of it at SWAC Media Day. There's Kelvin. Put that up. Hold that up, Kelvin. Hold that up. You just downloaded it. Hold it up again. I got a chance to see the preview during SWAC Media Day. Josh gave me a little sneak peek of what was to come. I kind of told you guys offline. It's dope. It was, I mean, let's see. There you go. Yeah. So, yeah, apparently you will be able to not only watch games, listen to audio. I mean, any and everything that the ability of the app to to broadcast the Rattler Sports Network are all there within the app, video and audio. Yeah, Kenya even just pointed out that, yes, there is a Ticketmaster link. So it is a one-stop shop if you want to purchase tickets. I can also say that there will be a map function to it as well. Okay. So when you're on campus, you'll be able to locate, you know, where and whatever. Let's see. You got a better angle there. I think the reflection is really bad there.
Yes, the light. But I could tell you some things we talked about way back in the pit. And Kelvin, you're on mute. But like an app like this, we talked about this like 5, 6 years, maybe 10 years ago. It was like, okay, if we ramped it up, you can get a link to Rattler merchandise. If we ever get merchandise in the stadium, once we get the bathrooms and concessions set up, maybe even for the VIP sections, or if we ever get suites, you know, have concierge service, bring the stuff to you, you know, even have the program, even though you can link to it, have the program, the football program on a game by game basis. What's that term? A pushed to your phone through the app, and they probably already will do that. But all those type of things you could do if you upgrade all the technology and get some things tidied up.
Yep. And there it is right there. You can go and download the new mobile app on the Apple App Store, Google Play. Not only, you know, two of the key features mentioned right there. You can access the Rattlers Plus feature as well as ordering tickets.
Now, I don't know if Josh mentioned it. Does this have the capability, I guess, with the upgrade of Wi-Fi, of scanning your ticket and helping to make sure we have accurate head count and all that stuff? I don't know if it has that capability.
Well, I would imagine it would sync all of that. Ticketing made easy, managing season and single game tickets, allow you to purchase tickets. You know, students can even claim tickets to upcoming games directly from the app. All of that will be available. Yeah, and the thing about the what you just mentioned there, Marcus, about the whole syncing, that's just a product of syncing all of these numbers. So I will tell you the one particular game last year where there was an issue with the sync. And unfortunately, NCAA rules, you have to get that number done by the end of the game. Like I think you have, Kelvin, you might want to correct me, or if you recall here, you got like less than 24 hours to get that number sent in to the NCAA, your attendance numbers. And if you have a computer glitch and you can't get that stuff synced up, you're SOL. And so you end up having an issue like what happened last year. But for the most part, most of the games were synced and there weren't any issues. But, you know, the one time it happened, it kind of, trust me, there were more people there than what was reported. That's all I'll say. Rattlers Plus, also exclusive content. So that'll be good. Behind the scenes access, special interviews, perks of, you know, for example, I would imagine if any of you saw Coach Gordon, her introductory meeting in the women's basketball locker room, which happened about 2-3 hours before the actual press conference dropped, that might be the kind of stuff that you get in terms of Rattlers Plus exclusive content. Obviously news and notes, schedule and rosters, game stats, live stats, listening to live games on the radio broadcast, might even be some audio there, some game day offers. Now that would be awesome. If you have the app, maybe you could do a flash sale where, you say, depending upon maybe if it's a particular vendor or the bookstore, maybe one day when the Athletics has their own athletics store, hey, you could do a flash sale and say, hey, if you come to this vendor at 1:00, you can get 20% off with this coupon code, and you put the code in the app. There's all kinds of stuff you can do. So yeah, good stuff there. Want to go back a second and just say thanks to everybody on the chat review, or actually the conversation that we had with Coach Tiffany and Dillyn. Good to see some good people recognized, their hard work and everything. Here's Jeremiah Clark. You're on it today. Got to give you. It's a nice little recognition piece there. Harriet Adderley, the first female to appear in a game for FAMU in 1963, believed to be the first female of any race to play college varsity baseball in the country. That's an interesting nugget there. Appreciate you sharing that, Jeremiah. Good stuff. So yeah, appreciate all you guys. Make sure you hit up Dillyn and Coach Tiffany on their social media. Let them know you appreciate them coming on the show, talking to us, as well as Reed. We had Reed on earlier. Make sure you hit him up. Let him know you wish him well. Any suggestions for him and his family when they come down to Tallahassee? I'm sure it'd be much appreciated. So there we go. So we had planned to have on Coach G here coming up. Not sure. We're kind of waiting to see if where he is. I know we were just a little bit off on our time on when we were supposed to have him on. So hopefully that didn't create too much of an issue for him. But let's go into, I guess, hold on. Let me go to one more video here because this one came out from FAMU Athletics as well. Of course, new rings right there for volleyball. And that's the first, I'm sure that's the first, 3 championship rings that will be made, that'll have to be made. So that's pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So I guess, Kelvin, are you in a good spot? You want to get into talking about Coach Gordon? You're on mute, Kelvin. You're on mute. Yeah, you got to do it from your end. I don't know what happened there. We'll see if we get Kelvin's audio back. So I'll go ahead and get us going here. Of course, Friday we started catching wind that Bridget Gordon was going to be the head coach, the new head coach. Rattler Nation Blogspot was the first to sort of drop that nugget real early Friday morning, and the internet buzzing. And so props to the site that always somehow finds a way to drop news nuggets before everybody else has. But they turned out to be correct in the fact that Coach Gordon was named. And so I was traveling personally on the road, on the highway, so I was able to watch the presser. I was even in the Zoom.
All right, Bryan. You're fading in and out.
Are you sure it's me? Are you
There
sure it's
you
not
go.
you?
No, it
Now
was
you're
cool.
clear.
Yeah,
Oh,
now you're good.
Okay, all right. Yeah, so I was traveling on the road as Coach was being introduced. I was even on the Zoom call trying to find my way to ask some pertinent questions. I saw Charlie Neal there, and then I didn't see Charlie Neal anymore. So I don't know. Charlie Neal was there for like a hot second, but I guess everybody that was going to ask questions was in the building. So Coach Gordon, first off, I'm surprised that she's just the 8th head coach of FAMU women's basketball. Did you guys happen to catch that?
Yes.
Yeah, I did.
But you also have to wonder when women's basketball started up with Title IX and everything. So it may not have, it's not like football where it had a long, long time. I don't know how long women's basketball has been around, but I want to say it was in late 70s.
Yeah, 79, somewhere around there.
Okay, so it's a little shorter run, a little shorter history. Okay.
Yes.
So she becomes the eighth head women's basketball coach, the second Tennessee Volunteer that takes over the position. So the Pat Summitt line is now well established here at FAMU, and what is interesting about the hire? Look, it's been 3 weeks. Okay, 3 weeks since we did our show and threw out a bunch of names. 3 weeks since Gerald followed it up with some names on the in his Tallahassee Democrat article. And what I find interesting is okay, on the positive side, I like the fact that the AD made the decision.
Yeah.
And she was allowed to make the decision. There was no committee. There was no 15-member panel to decide who was going to be the next women's basketball coach. It essentially was in her hands. What I also found interesting is the fact when she said there were 500 candidates, that she had to start creating a spreadsheet. Now, if you have ever been in a position of hiring people, I have. Some of you may have as well. When you get that many candidates, I am fascinated in the process of how quickly you can come to a decision. And what kind of, I don't know if troubles is the word, but it is very interesting to me to see the many candidates, many quality people that we pointed out, right?
Yeah.
And I feel kind of like, wow, no one had Bridget Gordon on their radar. I don't know why. Maybe, I don't know. I mean, it just was us. Nobody on our crew or anyone that I had not heard her name mentioned. So when she said that she received several calls mentioning Bridget Gordon, I found that pretty interesting. But I also found it interesting that she says that she reached out and used a
search
firm. Now, I don't know what the search firm did because it sounded like AD Sykes did all the work herself in terms of, hey, I had a person.
No, I'm pretty sure that's too much. That's too much volume to deal with. The reason why you would hire a firm, and this was a minority-owned firm in California, and they actually did put out a tweet after the hire was announced, and acknowledging their contributions. But essentially, what they would typically do is kind of be a conduit. They'll accept the applications. They'll kind of vet some of the, vet the applicants and come up with some sort of ranking system so that the AD and or whoever is doing the selection and review can kind of focus in on some of the top candidates. And usually there's a criteria that is they use best practices, where they've done searches with other institutions, as well as what is the university looking for specifically in this hire. So I'm sure all of those things are some of the things that the search firm would have done. And then I think the AD was asked to fill in the calls, doing the interviews, and trying to get a feel for the fit with, I guess, her as well as the program.
Yeah, and I'm curious I guess I'm curious about how many people she spoke to, because if you have 500 candidates, as she said she had, to sort of give an thought that maybe this was the only candidate she talked to, that's interesting. I mean, I get it. You could have been blown away by the first call. Look, if Bridget Gordon was the first person on your list that you talked to, and you just know, and you just have a good feeling off that conversation, I get it. Okay, maybe she was like, I don't have to go anywhere else. I had one conversation, and I got it. I feel like this is the right person. You know what I'm saying? And that could have been what happened. I don't think no one asked that question, though, which that kind of bothers me about the presser and everybody who was there. I give credit to Vaughn, HBCU Game Day. He was there. He tried. I think he tried to get more information out of AD Sykes about the process. Unfortunately, none of our other brothers and sisters who were there covering really went down the path. But I also think there's this philosophy with hiring a new coach. Someone with her credentials, she knows what winning looks like, right? She's won at every level and done it as a player. Now, true, she has not sat in the number one chair. She hasn't technically been the head coach for an entire season. I don't know to what degree her role was as an assistant coach. Maybe she wrote the practice plans and did the recruiting. It sounds like she did a lot of the recruiting. Maybe she does a lot of the stuff that a head coach would do as an assistant coach, okay? Except, obviously, when the bullets are flying on game day, are you making, you know what I'm saying? So that's when you hear people say, oh, we wanted somebody with head coaching experience. We want somebody who's had the wins and losses. I get it. But let me ask you fellas, to what degree does knowing what winning looks like compare to actually being the head person who controls the winning? If that makes
I'm gonna let Marcus go first on this one.
Okay. Well, I would say this: nothing beats experience. And if you've been in the head coach's chair, then you can navigate certain situations, predict certain situations. This is not casting any aspersions on Coach Gordon's ability or potential or leading our program, but I guess observing it and from afar and then getting the chance, and this is just in anything, and then having had experience doing it and then either growing from that experience or being able to relay some of your previous situations. It's just, I guess, it takes off the first time luster for me. So I guess that's where I kind of differentiate between the two, but it's not casting a shadow on her hire. But I guess from that standpoint, there may be, once again, also we know we have a new AD, or she's been in the chair for 9 months, 6, 7 months. And to a certain degree, you may ask, you want someone who's in alignment with your program, but then also when you hire a veteran coach, then you have someone who's may not be as pliable and may have something that they're established and want to do versus being in lockstep with your program or doing things exactly. So there's a trade-off there as well.
Okay. Kelvin, your thoughts?
So the first thing I'll say is that what I like you mentioned earlier, first thing I like was that the AD made the decision. That's the way it should have been. Dr. Robinson, who was at the presser, communicated that it was her decision. So that's the process. That's why you hire AD, in my opinion. So I'm glad of the process. We also got to remember we had a timeline. I think Coach Pillar last day was the first, and so we had to move expeditiously and hiring someone. And so that did happen. Now, for me, as someone who's been an administrator and just been watching athletics for a long time, I can differentiate between someone's playing career and someone's coaching career. And with this particular hire, that's exactly how I kind of view it. Let's be frank, her playing career is elite.
Yes, it is.
I mean, multiple championships in college, Olympic gold medal, etc. What we hired, though, was a coach. Does that translate? Does that winning as a player translate to coaching? Not necessarily. It can. Does it also translate because she was, all that happened in the 80s? Does it resonate with today's student athletes? Not necessarily. It can, but we don't know. This particular hire for me is I'll wait and see. I'm a season ticket holder. I'll be at the games every year, and I'll be at the games supporting the team and hoping for the best. She's got a lot of things that are working against her as a first-time coach. The timing of the hire. She's got to put a staff together. She's got a team she did not recruit that she's got to try to keep together and learn and put a product on the floor and play all these money games. So it will probably be a challenge. If she can win 6 games, which is what we won last year, then that's a win. If she win anything over that, that's a plus. In terms of as coaching hire, the names that were put out there, Bryan, were people who had experience. All right, head coaching experience, and was a little bit more known quantity. Now, her background seems to be more in recruiting. I can tell you, recruiting at Tennessee women's basketball is different than recruiting at FAMU. You know, so I don't know if that's gonna resonate. I mean, you got to remember, Coach Pillar played at Tennessee too, and was a pretty elite player and played for Pat Summitt. So, and that didn't necessarily translate. And she had a similar track record, frankly. You know, a lot of mid majors, one or two Power Fives as a career assistant. So we'll have to see. But decision has been made. I'm going to support and I hope for the best. But it's a wait and see. It doesn't have the shine that some of those other applicants that were mentioned and who was available, who was interested, would have had.
Yeah, and I think there is some value to having somebody fresh, like Marcus said. New AD, getting somebody fresh, somebody that hasn't been sort of a retread, because what you're most likely going to get, again, you're either going to get a head coach that is from the high school level, even maybe it was a successful run at the high school level, or you're going to get somebody who had some losing years at the collegiate level due to maybe things out of their circumstances, because
That's not true though. We at least I know of at least a couple of folks who were interested who were winners and still are winners.
Okay.
So I mean, there was even one in the SWAC, that was allegedly interested, who's pretty successful. So that wasn't the only option. Let's not put that out there.
We can okay. I'm glad you said that, so we can cross that excuse line off. Wanting a winner. There was another item that in talking to the team said they wanted a winner. Okay, and what winning looks like is the question that I think needed to be asked by somebody during that press conference, in that initial press conference. What does winning look like for someone who is a player? And how does being a player with all of the accolades that she has, give me the male equivalent for Gordon? Would it be maybe Magic Johnson trying to go to college, or trying to when he went to the pros to coach the Lakers? Would it be? I'm trying to think of somebody on the male level.
Patrick Ewing. I hope it's not Patrick Ewing.
Well, I mean that didn't go well. That you know what? That's a real good question. Yeah, Patrick Ewing had a great year, college year. Obviously, pro Hall of Famer. Was an assistant at the pro level. His first head coaching job at his alma mater. Didn't go too well. Jeez. So,
let's not be Debbie Downer. Let's look at some positives.
Keith said Steve Nash. Yeah, Steve Nash might be a bad one. I'm not trying to be down, Marcus, but what I'm saying is nobody's asking the questions. Now, we can all bury our head in the sand, but we're talking about, Kelvin's talking about a 6-win season. People were giving me shit, excuse my language, for talking about, hey, we improved from 3 to 6 wins. And I got people telling me, oh, you capping for pillow, and oh, she was horrible, blah, blah, blah. Well, I'm not going to accept 6 wins because y'all told me 6 wins was too low a standard. So I'm just asking the question of saying, how do you translate the success, the high level of success as a player, to coaching a team that has had a recent history of losing? You got to change the culture and mindset of teams that have lost and lost bad.
But Brian, this particular team is new. So I know a couple of junior college kids had pretty good careers and were successful. And like we got 9 new players, so they don't necessarily have the culture of losing that previous teams have had. So that'll be interesting. I'm really interested to see what kind of hiring she does, what kind of staff she puts together. Because I would tell you, I did like her energy at the interview, right? And I like what she said. She talked about, she never talked about her stats and so forth. And, she was going to be defensive-minded, focused, and that requires effort and tenacity. You can hear some of the passion and fire, the player competitive juices coming out of her. But I don't know how much and the swag is competitive and pretty much parity. So a new coach can come in. We've seen it. And when Tamika Reed at JSU came in, and Dawn Thorne, I think her name is, at Pine Bluff. Yeah, they came in and they had decent success for year one. So it's possible if you can coach and put together a good staff and get your team to buy in. The only thing about this situation, we just don't know until we see it. What we see.
And also we have, I guess she said we have 11 players. Now I only saw 8 on the
there's
roster.
Only 8. Yeah, there's only.
Yeah, I only saw 8 on the roster. She did mention there were 3 on Zoom when we saw the Rattler Plus video afterwards. So I don't know if there were 8 in the room or how many were in the room. There were 3 on Zoom, and there's only 8 listed on the roster. And there's a couple of people that we're not sure. They were on the roster last year, and they still, I guess, theoretically have eligibility. We're not sure if they're still on the team. They're at least not listed. So, she said she had 11, but it shows 8 on the roster, and she can't work with that. No, that's what Coach Pillar was working with, all that between COVID, injuries, and all the other stuff.
You need 15. She needs a solid 15. She was talking about maybe she didn't know whether she was going to bring in any new people. She was going to leave it up to the girls. Nope. Don't leave it up to those girls. You need 15. You need to go.
But Bryan, one thing we have to consider now, it's very late in the season.
I get it.
You do not need bodies. What you need is
you got to get the right bodies. You have to get the right bodies. I don't care if you have to have a walk-on tryout put a post up and say we're having walk-on tryouts, and if those 4 spots are walk-ons, let them be bodies, because I'll tell you what this roster needs. You need some people at the end of it who maybe they have some high school playing in their background. Maybe, they don't have to be a rated star. Obviously, you want to have some walk-ons, because why? You want good practice players. You want good team people. And in a worst case scenario, like really worst case, you may have to insert them into a game. You don't want to, but you may have to. So if she's got 11, hey, great. Ride or die with those 11. But you need to have those other 4, because if of your 11, if 3 get sick, and you need those other 4 to help you practice so you can go 5v5. So there's some merits to having a full 15. And I know I'm not talking bodies. I'm talking, yes, you want to have quality people. You want to have quality people. So I just think
especially it's late.
Hey, I don't think it's that easy. I see Mr. Campbell in his statement about getting folks from Tennessee. Coach Pillar wasn't able to do that. She recruited more internationally. Like she had some folks, she had some connections in Canada and so forth. Let me just be frank, and I'm not going to bite the bullet. We done had this discussion before. You might want to get someone who can recruit in your own damn region first on your staff. She ain't got to do it, but have somebody on that staff where the junior college circuit, which is one of the best in the nation, the high school, the AAU circuit, you got to recruit Alabama, Georgia, Florida.
Agree.
Okay. All right. That's it.
And as far as this year, even if she has 11, I mean, we're late in the game. I mean, we're 3 weeks away from school starting.
That's plenty of time. Plenty of time.
Well, like Kelvin said, you want quality, and I don't follow women's basketball as it relates to recruiting as much as I do, FAMU specific, but I don't follow it kind of like I do for football, where some of the 5-star names across the country, even though they may or may not come to FAMU. But at this late in the game, even in the portal, I mean, there may be some quality in the portal, but I mean, you're 3 weeks before school starts. What's the likelihood?
I think you guys think it's more challenging than I'm not.
It is.
I'm not saying it's not hard, but I think you're making it out to be harder.
Bryan, aren't you the guy on this show multiple times who said winning is hard, winning is not easy?
That's winning. I didn't say anything about going to get 4 quality players out the portal.
Hey,
that may not be very hard.
That is a version of winning. Getting quality players at this late in the game. I mean, everybody who works something typically already, on somebody's roster.
Yeah, but again, this is player. Now okay. So we talk about what's going to separate Bridget Gordon. Player development. You can take we see it all the time, a no-star, 1-star, 2-star. If you develop them right and you put them in the right kind of system where they can succeed, all of a sudden you get a kid who may turn into score and be more than what she was rated to be. These scouting things, Kelvin, are not exact sciences. I mean, they do a pretty good job, but there are plenty of misses. And so what I'm saying, that's why I'm saying, it's not not impossible.
Our resources are resources, right? I'm less skeptical of you hypothesizing and projecting that, because if we had a nutrition program and some of the other things and access to the gym 24/7, some of the things that those other programs do, then yes, development is a lot more possible. But there's some built-in challenge. Somebody else brought this up on another show, and I thought it was a fair point. And that was, she's not really been at a HBCU or a low resource school. How's she going to deal with some of the things she probably have to deal with being at FAMU. We'll see. But that's a fair question, though.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's a fair question, but AD Sykes said she was gonna give her whatever she needed within the rules. That's what she said. That's what, no.
Has she been on the OG StrikeZone yet?
Well, look, if
yeah, take a sip.
I'm gonna
all right, moving on. All right, so hopefully we'll get a chance to get.
We're working on it, Mr. Campbell.
Yeah,
we're all working on that. You talking about call-ins?
Yeah,
we're working on it.
Yeah, we might have to have Miss Lori though with the button.
No,
we have to switch to Call Duty.
It's all good. Hey, let's do this. Let's take a. Oh, no, I'm looking at the time. I'm not going to take a break. We're just going to stay here. No sense in going to a break now. Where else did I know I wanted to get in something else?
Baseball tournament. I mean, the golf outing for baseball.
That was not on my to do, but did anybody?
Toughest place to play?
What are you talking about?
Bragg Stadium.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
According to the players.
The players in the swag, yeah, they say the toughest place to play is
Big 36.
Is
you know all the Gremlin guys said FAMU.
It was that is true. The Gremlin guys, they know very well. They know very well. Yeah. So I okay. Tell the truth, Mr. Campbell. Were you one of the people who called AD Sykes about Coach Gordon? Because I didn't know I don't know anybody who mentioned Coach Gordon's name. I'm just asking. It's all good. All right. So here's one that I think we could get into for a second. My guy Dexter asked about the HBCU band competition. So here's what I'll do. I'll drop a little video. This video, of course, is the official Band of the Year announcement. And then after this video, reference a few points that John Grant not only made on Sunday's BCSN Sports Wrap, AD, Charles Edmond, Jamie Walker, those guys, two of them filled in for me as I was still traveling. But they had a great conversation. That's available on YouTube. Go to our website, our YouTube, MyJBN1, and take a look at that. But, hey, look at this Band of the Year announcement video, and then let's talk about this right afterwards.
All right, team, let's do it.
Precision, rankings, design, excitement. All part of the winning formula in the fight to become Band of the Year.
We're coming to win, cause runner-up is not an option. We keep it moving cause it ain't no stopping. Let the games begin.
Championship should be decided on the field.
Make some noise.
There'll be some high step in here.
If you haven't seen him before, you're in for a treat.
Ladies and gentlemen, behold.
This fall, halftime shows take on a whole new meaning as HBCU bands throughout the country battle for an opportunity to showcase their excellence at the Mercedes-Benz Stadium in Atlanta. Each week, fans will be ranked based on top performances, accuracy, and swagger. Fans will be judged on showmanship, musicianship, and technique by the toughest judges in the world of college bands. 4 bands, top 2 from the divisions 1 and 2, will earn the right to face off in Atlanta, where a national championship will be crowned. The Band of the Year, presented by ESPN Events.
All right, there you go. The HBCU Band of the Year, the national championship competition. And so a couple things that I think if you heard in there. One, let's talk the timeline of this competition. The timeline of this competition will begin from week 0. The first, from right there on the first, Jackson State, South Carolina State in the MEAC SWAC Challenge. That first halftime show will be one of the probably one of the shows that those schools will submit. And the competition will run. I don't know exactly the date of the first ranking, but I know the end of the rankings will conclude in mid-November. So most likely the Florida Classic, the Bayou Classic, since those are those 2 weekends right at the end of the year, those won't be on the table for FAMU Bethune, Southern Grambling, okay? Because what were we going to say, Marcus? What?
Well, I was going to say, the
well,
Florida
here's
Classic
why.
is the week before Thanksgiving.
Yeah,
so
well,
but
from what John Grant said, the reason they want to cut it off right about the end of that period, and I'll tell you, the Division II level, and when the Division II season ends, it ends right about the first weekend in November.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so that's probably the last week, and that what they want to do is they want to give enough time for that final ranking to come out, to build up some excitement, and then also to have those teams, those bands, and those fan bases, logistics of them making plans. So, obviously those kids will have to be around. They'll have to fight. The logistics of being able to get to Atlanta on the Friday before the Celebration Bowl requires a little more time, with a 300, 200 piece band than it does a football team. Okay. So that's the first thing. So the time frame should be noted. One of the things that he pointed out is that think of this like the college football playoffs. Every other week, beginning sometime in mid-September, when they have their first rankings, every other week there will be a ranking. And so every 2 weeks, there'll be a new rankings come out, and it'll show you who's moving up, who's moving down, who's getting closer to being one of the top 2 teams. They're trying to build that excitement that people have with the college bowl season. Okay. How bands will submit. So bands will have an opportunity to submit their performances on a weekly basis or every other week, however they choose to do it. But bands will get an opportunity to submit 4 halftime performances. And over the course of those 4 performances, that's how they'll be judged. So, your best 4 outings are what, at the end of the day, they're going to look at.
I think it's going to be important. I know that Don Roberts is leading the charge in terms of putting that together in a rattling of drumline fame. And
we are having him on the show next week. We are working on having him on the show next week.
The committee and the criteria, I think, is going to be key. I love it. I love the idea because the bands are an important part of HBCU culture and the pageantry. And I love it because it's going to be controversial.
Oh, it's definitely going to be controversial.
It's going to generate some buzz. So I think it's a great idea and a great revenue stream. I don't know this for sure. I don't know if you heard, Bryan, but during that time, December 15th, that's usually finals week. Dorms are closing and so forth. So those are kind of logistics and costs, that they're gonna have to take care of. They being the I think it's a part of the ESPN event inventory now.
Yes.
So ESPN owns this event. And it is so the money's going to be there, and so I'm looking forward to it. And I'm not a band head, but I'm looking forward to it.
Mm-hmm. You bring up a good point, Kelvin, in terms of this being ESPN events and just in the backdrop of everything that's going on with Disney and ESPN. I don't know. Are they going to stream it? Is it going to be pay-per-view? Is it going to be live during halftime of the Celebration Bowl or the Friday night before? The night before?
Okay, so it is the Friday night before the Celebration Bowl. He said the plan was for it to broadcast probably about a 6 o'clock start to be finished by 8:30 because they still have to get the Georgia Dome ready, or not the Georgia Dome, the
Mercedes-Benz Stadium.
They have to get the stadium ready for a like noon or 1 o'clock game that's going to kick off the next day. So they want to be finished with everything at a reasonable time so that they have the stadium ready for people the next day at noon. So will it be streamed? Yeah, from what I was told or what I heard in the interview, yes, it will be streamed on ESPN.com, probably on ESPN Plus as well. I don't know if it'll be on ESPN 1 or 2, but it will be streamed. You'll have access to it, and it sounded like you'll have free access to it. Like I didn't get the impression that it was going to be behind a paywall.
Okay.
And people have an opportunity to buy tickets. Another thing he said, you could buy a ticket for both events, the band championships and the Celebration Bowl, in the exact same seats. So if you wanted seats on the 40-yard line, row 30, seat 1 and 2, you could buy tickets for both events in the same spot. Yeah.
And Bryan, I believe he said that it's going to be 2 Division II bands, the top 2 Division II bands in the poll, and the top Division I HBCU bands in the poll. So it's going to be a total of 4 bands.
Correct. It's 2 championships, a Division II championship and a Division I championship. And yes, it's just 1 versus 2. So whoever comes out ranked 1 and 2 will compete. One of the things that I didn't quite understand or get, he mentioned doing something with quarters. And so like having one band go first quarter, next band goes second quarter. And I don't know, he mentioned a halftime show. And then I don't know if he was moving, if the third and fourth quarter was the same division, or maybe it's the next division. I got to go back and listen and hear that part. But yeah, I didn't quite get that. Let me go back. I wanted to answer Deck's question about moving and feeding the bands. I mean, what do they do for the put it like this? Knowing John Grant, whatever they're doing for the football teams, he won't skimp or allow ESPN events to skimp out on taking care of the bands. Now, to what degree, that's where your sponsors, because it is a little more, right? That's let's just say the average band has 200 kids in it. Well, now you're talking, you got to take care of 800 kids, right? Among the 4 bands.
And staff. And
the band coordinators and all the other stuff. So that'll be interesting. They even talked about taking care of them in terms of financially. There will be not only a championship, but there will be a financial component as well. So that'll be that. Hey, let me I got to give an apology. I'm going to fall on the sword on this one. Coach G is going to we're going to have to reschedule with Coach G for probably next weekend. I thought I took care of everything that I needed to take care of to get him on the show. I talked to him today, but I don't think I took care of everything I needed to. I'll just say it like that. So Coach G not being on the show is 100% on me. And so I'm apologizing. Shaka, I apologize. Coach G will not be on tonight. I'm going to make that up to try to see if we can get Coach on next week. But like I said, I dropped the ball in getting some information to him, and this is after talking to him. I talked to him this morning, but I guess in getting other stuff ready for tonight, I forgot to do one of the most important things for a guest, and that's all on me. That's my fault, and so I apologize for you guys who tuned in to hear Coach, and I definitely apologize to Coach if he's still watching. We'll have to try to find a way to get Coach in early. I know we got already looking ahead. We got busy shows already, but we're a way to get it figured out. So,
can I get my shoes on the screen, please?
Did you put your shoes on the board, or do I have to go through the? Let me see. Where are these?
Scroll down on the script. They're my shoes.
All right, I'm gonna let you talk about these shoes because I know nothing about these shoes. Here we go. So this is Kelvin in the shoes that he wanted everybody to see. All right, Kelvin, go ahead. What about the shoes?
Well, they dropping tomorrow, and unlike the other shoes that Nike has been, these are not gonna be dropped on the app. These are actually in stores. I'll be ordering mine from Dick's Sporting Goods, 10 o'clock in the morning.
Hey, what are you using to keep these shoes clean? Give me some. I'm horrible with white shoes and keeping shoes clean. What are you using to keep these shoes clean?
You asking the wrong guy, man. I try not to wear them that much.
Yeah, I got a pair. I need to clean up.
So you're gonna wear it one time and that's it?
That's it.
Oh my God! See, this is why I don't want white shoes right there.
But they fly. I saw that A&M, Alabama A&M actually got some dropping too.
Oh really?
Oh, they do.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now I hope. Now that looks like the font that we use for ours. I hope theirs is a different font. It's just not like changing colors and it's the same font.
Which font you talking about? Right there on the side there.
Well, the A&M, that looks like the word mark that was created a few years ago, I believe, when Angela Suggs was still in.
Yeah. Campbell says to use baby wipes and wipe them down after you wear them. All right. Okay.
I'll try. I never heard that one now. Don't have me looking like a fool, Mr. Kelvin. Now don't be playing.
Well, you do it in the comfort of your own home and won't nobody know. And if it doesn't work, only your wife will be looking at you crazy. So
what this grown man got baby wipes in here for?
He ain't got no baby.
First off, every grown man should have baby wipes. So that's the first thing I'm gonna tell you right off the bat there.
Huh? You can't explain?
I'm just I said it. Every grown man should have baby wipes in the bathroom. Period. I said it. If you know, you know. You know.
I don't know, dog.
Well, okay. See, are we really gonna go there, huh? Okay.
You need to break it down for a brother.
No, I'm not breaking it down. Nope. Hey, let me make a quick announcement here. Something that we're happy to announce here. A little partnership that we've got working with a good friend of ours, Mike Reed, over at, of course, those of you who don't know, Mike coordinates a lot of FAMU-related travel things. And you can go to his website, justlookingout.com. That's JUSLOOKIN out.com. And what he has been so gracious about setting up and working with us on is Mike has a group of seats in the premium club level for $109 a piece. Now, if you're familiar with the setup of the stadium The club level, if you can see there, is that orange level. Okay. That is the orange section of the stadium at the Hard Rock Stadium.
Is it outside the heat?
Well, put it like this. You can go inside if you want to get out of the heat because you're in the club level.
That's the point.
Okay. So there you go. You can go inside, but the club level is this orange section. Now, the section that he has, Mike has section 249, which is right about on the 20-yard line, and it happens to be right behind where the Marching 100 will be. The Marching 100 will be in section 150, and he has club section seats in 249, and once those are filled out, they will move to 250, which is right behind the band. So essentially you're talking 20-yard line view, 10-yard line view. You're in the shade, Kelvin. For those of you who are worried about, the heat, it is on the shaded side of the stadium this year. Okay. And here's how you can support the show. When you order your club level seats through justlookingout.com, you can go right here. When you go to place your purchase for a club level seat, you can enter BCSN or you can enter StrikeZone. And Mike has it set up where a portion of the proceeds will come back to the show. So if you have not purchased your Orange Blossom Classic tickets, let us be the first to encourage you to order your club level seats in section 249 and maybe eventually 250, and have these seats right here behind the Marching 100 for, you can see the price, $109 at checkout. Make sure to enter the code BCSN or StrikeZone. So that's BCSN or StrikeZone in the code. You can, and a portion will go to us. You can also send Mike Cash App or Zelle. You can also call him there and contact him. And if you purchase your tickets that route, just let him know. Use the code as well, BCSN or StrikeZone, and we will, a portion of the proceeds from those ticket sales will come back to the show. We're looking to kind of do some different kind of things this upcoming year with some road games, and so we're looking to try to build the audience and the base up. So we need you guys, those of you who are regulars and watch. We'd love to be able to maybe host some meet and greet kind of things, maybe have some pre-show, some tailgate stuff. I don't know. We're open to any and all kind of ideas. And so Mike was gracious enough to come up with this idea, and we're working on some things for the Houston road trip and even the Florida Classic. So just to kind of put that out there. Anything you guys want to add or any thoughts?
No, just take advantage of it.
You want to mention the NIL?
Yeah, let's do that. I'm gonna go find that. Let me make sure I can find the actual website here. Go ahead and start talking about it, and then I can find out. I can get the website pulled up here.
So, a group of football players have come together and created a NIL that will benefit members of the group. Last time I looked, I think it was about 46 players who was part of that particular group. And they were trying to get, I think, $900 a month. That was the target goal. And any money that is generated for that NIL will be shared among those players who's part of the group. And they have a website, and on the website they tell you who the players are. So we want to do what we can to support our student athletes. They don't have an opportunity to have a part-time job like everybody else or other students may be able to do, because this sport is their job. And so this is the way things are going now, and so they've took the initiative to give us this avenue of supporting them, and we just want to encourage folks to consider supporting our student athletes.
Right. So here it is, nilclub.com/Florida-AM/football. And you can just search NIL Club Florida A&M, and it'll bring you right to this page. Now, again, like Kelvin said, they set a goal. They actually increased it. Well, I don't know. That last goal was July. So this year it kind of looks like the goal is set at 920. You can see there are 46 players. You can, if you choose to support, what it will do, it'll bring you to this members page, and you can choose one of these monthly plans, whatever you have it in your pockets to give, 25, 50, 75, 100, or other, okay? And all members get full access to club content. So as you saw in here earlier, there's a couple of guys who, are doing some things, Kelvin Dean, Marcus Riley. But if you look at the number of participating players, you got 46 players, including Jeremy Musa. You can see the other list of names here. Junior Muratovic, David Manigo, Kobe Gross, Sedarius Walker, TJ Demas, Ja'Cory Jordan, TJ Lee, Jordan Moore, Isaiah Major. So these are all guys. So essentially, what I found out, this NIL club is essentially giving players an opportunity to sort of have control over the reach. Now, obviously, this is separate from the university. University is obviously not, the athletic department doesn't have any hands in on this. This is an athlete-operated fan community that benefits Florida A&M football athletes. Now, this same NIL club could be done for other teams, because if you, in doing some digging on the company that hosts this, you have various other football programs, but you also have basketball programs, wrestling teams, baseball, softball. So any team could choose to be a part of this, and the players are the ones who work together to promote their club and create content for club supporters. All proceeds are split evenly among the actively participating athletes. The NIL club is not affiliated with Florida A&M University. Okay. So yeah, I'm for one. Look, I've told you, I told you guys know I'm real big on where we need to get to as a collective. Let's just say there are 2 schools in the SWAC with a collective, possibly 3, but I know for a fact 2, Alcorn State and Prairie View. And pay attention to what those 2 programs do over the next year or 2.
Grambling has one too.
I thought Alabama State launched one last year.
Active? I don't know.
I don't know. That I don't know. I remember.
I'm talking a collective. Now, yes, you mentioned Grambling. I don't know if the Grambling collective is still functioning, because nobody really mentions it when they talk about collectives. I only seem to hear people talk about Alcorn and Prairie View. And I know for a fact, I know people who are part of that collective. I mean, we have people who work with us that are part of that collective. Okay. And I will tell you that one of those collectives had a major role in bringing in a day one starter that's going to be playing for one of those teams, somebody, a difference maker. So pretty soon, if things like this don't start catching fire, and this is why, I bring this up and we bring this up and share it to say, hey, Rattler Nation, go support. I mean, I know people support. Look, here's what I'll say. Kelvin, correct me if I'm wrong here. When you donate to the foundation, when you donate to wherever else, that money goes to the athletic department to go to the program. It's not a guarantee that does not directly go to the players. And that's what the NIL club, the NIL collectives are designed to do, is to actually go to the players. Not so that the players necessarily eat better on the training table, not so that they have better stuff, but it's to actually put right in their hands and say, hey guys, here, go be able to do what you need to do, off campus, right. Whether it's pay your rent or do other things. It's just different. So yeah, if you donate $25 to the foundation to go to athletics on a monthly basis, that's great. But I tell you what, if you can find $25 to put in there as well to the NIL collective or the NIL club in this case, this is not a collective, this is the NIL club, but this is the kind of stuff that is going to be a game changer for Florida A&M University athletes. Any did I say that right, Kelvin? Am I
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you're good.
Okay. All right. Marcus, what are your thoughts on the NIL club?
I think it's a good first step to autonomy for them earning money off of, especially now, we have a high expectations for this season and a lot of notoriety. If I recall, 9 of our games will be either on ESPN or HBCU Go. And so there's going to be a lot of publicity and a tremendous opportunity for an exposure to garner in NIL money for here. And, we've been talking about this for the last couple of years. What are we going to do? How's it going to get organized? And we've seen individual offers, from BJ Bowler and AT&T and Amaya Gaynor in softball too. But this is, I guess, a I'm using the term not in terms of the organization, but I guess a collective effort by the football team to try to reap the benefits.
Mm-hmm.
2 things we need to get in before we close the show, Bryan.
Okay, go ahead. You
got to mention about to remind everybody that the Hall of Fame ceremony is coming up this weekend. Ken Riley, NFL Hall of Fame. So we definitely want to watch and support, and we will have some guests to talk about that afterwards, hopefully on the next show. And then also there was the strike tour, the final leg of the strike tour happened in South Florida. And I believe the last tweet I saw said it was about $75,000 that was raised.
Yeah, 75, something like that. I got a video here. I was able to download a video. I can play that here in a moment. Maybe before we close out the show. But yeah, the Ken Riley going into the Hall of Fame. Actually, tomorrow is basically it's the kickoff, the game tomorrow. The preseason, first preseason NFL game is tomorrow night, featuring the Jets and Browns. But yeah, Ken Riley will be enshrined in the Pro Football Hall of Fame. Countdown to enshrinement week, 21 hours away. That's live right there, profootballhof.com. And there's a couple of, I've seen some really good YouTube videos.
Yeah.
That we've tried to retweet from our social media page. So if you're not following us, make sure you follow I know Ken Riley II has retweeted them as well. But keep everyone that's traveling. I know there's going to be a lot of folks from FAMU, Polk County, all across the country, football alums, Ken Riley's guys, all over will be making the trek up to Canton, Ohio, for this enshrinement weekend to be a part of this, and it's really touching, really moving. So tune in to watch. Early on in the broadcast, I don't know the exact. Did you have the exact time, Kelvin? Did you know the exact time the speeches?
No, I hadn't seen that yet.
I believe I think Ken Riley's the second.
He is the second. I was just trying to see if we knew the exact time. I know the speech order. So the enshrinement is again Saturday, August 5th. It will air on ESPN and the NFL Network. Check your local listings. Usually they do those early evening, like around 6 o'clock, maybe even 7 o'clock, because it is an outdoor event. So hopefully everybody can get a chance to watch it and see how that goes. So anything you want to get in, Marcus, before we close up?
No, I'm good. Just answering Chaka Perkins about volleyball. And I know we went over that earlier in the spring, maybe early summer, late spring, about the volleyball commitments.
Yeah, Coach will be on in the next couple of weeks. And I think reporting time is for next week for volleyball. I think it's like next Monday or Tuesday. And in terms of updating the website, I know that they're going through, and they started with football first, and like I said, grades have been posted now, but they're going through the process of certifying everybody that had already been, the ones who already cleared, they already certified. But so those rosters will be updated probably closer to the end of next week when all the grades are posted and everybody's cleared.
Mm-hmm.
And they are still waiting to get final contracts signed so that they can release the schedule. And I think Josh Padilla says that after they do they still have to finish filming their all of the media stuff for the volleyball team. And so next week sounds like when the schedule will drop. So we'll know what the schedule looks like next week. Fingers crossed it's by Wednesday, so maybe we can talk about it or at least share it with everybody Wednesday, or download that FAMU Athletics app. I'm sure if you download the FAMU Athletics app, and if is there an option on there where you can turn on like notifications and stuff like that? If so,
I don't think we played with it yet.
All right. If so, I would say that turn on notifications, and you will get a notification of when the schedule gets released.
Mm-hmm. All right.
Yeah.
And to answer Chaka's question about where do you go see the high school signees, that's an exclusive with the O&G StrikeZone. We're very diligent about following recruiting. Can't catch everything, but we compiled a list just based on watching social media of who signed and things like that. So I don't know if there's been an official release. I know last summer with the transfers, they put out the volleyball transfers. There's 3 that we had. They put out a press release, but they didn't quite do that this year. But it's just something that we track and we try to publicize to the Rattler faithful. So I don't know if there's any formal one place other than here where you may get the interest to have the names of the volleyball signees.
So as we get our blog spot or our website put up, once that goes live, then we'll have a place to send you, because as Marcus updates that kind of information, the recruiting corner, I'm sure there will be an article or a feature or a post that will keep you updated with our volleyball signees. So that we're working on it. We're working on it.
By the way, the enshrinement starts at noon on Saturday.
Oh, okay. So there you go. Okay, that is earlier. So Saturday noon on ESPN or NFL Network. That is way earlier than I thought.
I thought it was usually prime time, like 6 o'clock, but I guess not.
Yeah, that's kind of odd. They've changed it around. Remember, they used to have the game after the enshrinement. Now they have the games before the enshrinement. So it's like maybe that's to help because I don't know, maybe they do some evening stuff like some dinner banquet stuff. I don't know. It's a big weekend. So maybe they've kind of found for traffic, maybe even traffic purposes, because there's a lot of people that will just come in for the day. And so maybe for traffic purposes, give people a chance to, witness the ceremony from noon. It'll probably go till about maybe 3 or 4 in the afternoon. And then it gives people plenty of time to get out of there if they choose to and make it back to their hotels and things of that nature. So that would make sense. So noon on Saturday, we will be looking for Ken Riley II. I know he'll be there, and Vaughn will be there, and a host of other Rattlers will be going. I think I mentioned I heard A.D. Sykes was going to try to go be a part of it. A lot of people who knew Ken from his, whether it be his playing days, his coaching days, his administrative days. So there will be a lot of orange and green along with a lot of black and orange. He representing the Bengals. So that'll be a real great experience. And he will go in as the second Florida A&M Rattler to be enshrined. So that's that. All right, I'm going to close the show and just kind of share. It's a 2-minute video from Mandela Made on YouTube. I met, what's funny is, and I can't think of the brother's name. He is a Rattler down in South Florida. Marcus, you may know. You remember the soccer jerseys that were out? The FAMU soccer jerseys?
Yeah.
I believe he was a part of making those a reality. If it's the same person I'm thinking of.
Okay, I know there's a guy who's a graphic designer, Masala, something with 2 M's.
Mm-hmm.
I remember a few years ago, and I think he actually pitched maybe 1 or 2, maybe 3 athletic directors ago, maybe 4, trying to do some upgrades for them and do some paraphernalia for FAM. And maybe do the graphic design or the website. Masakela or something like that.
Yeah. I want to make sure I have his Mandela Made. That's his handle on YouTube. So I want to give him a shout out for putting this video together. It's a little 2-minute video, so I'll run the video before we close. Marcus, no more final thoughts. Kelvin, anything that we left out that you wanted to hit on before we close up the show? Guess not. I will again apologies again to everybody who had tuned in to see Coach G with our track and field. I messed up. That's completely my fault for not taking care of something that would have helped Coach G be on our show. But we are working in the background to try to get him on for another show. And when we do it, we'll have to push him up to the front of the line, maybe at the start of the show. So that way we don't have him at the end. But again, thanks to Reed Hoskins for joining us earlier, new FAMU baseball recruit. Got to thank Coach Terry Johnson. Thank Dillyn Suggs for joining us as well and talking to us about Toni's promise and
Tiffany.
that softball team that won the Jenny Finch Classic in Seattle a couple of weekends ago, playing for minority softball prospects. And so make sure you guys follow them on their social medias, Twitter or Instagram. Hit them up. Let them know you appreciate them watching the show. And hit the thumbs up button on the way out the door. Like and subscribe. Rate, review, share the feed, share the show. Make sure you're following us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at ONG Strike Zone. Download the Jericho Broadcast Network's app on the Google Play or Apple App Store. Just search MyJBN, MyBCSN is where you can find us. And go download the BCSN Pod Zone. BCSN Pod Zone, all of the podcasts of our show. We got some exciting things in the month of August, fellas. We got a lot of work to do. So be on the lookout for some special shows, some exclusive shows. Things like that will be coming down the pipeline from us to you. We appreciate all your support and whatever way you give to help make this thing happen. So keep those things up. Make sure you strike hard. And when you go, those of you who are going to Canton, Ohio, safe travels. Make sure to strike, and strike again when you see each other up there in Canton, Ohio. Fangs up. All right. For Marcus, Kelvin, I'm Bryan. Peace out.